Hello, and welcome back to the Membership IQ. I'm Sarah Sladek, your host. This is where you go to get smart about membership, this topic that people really don't know a whole lot about. There's no defined career path, there's no educational track. And so, how do you learn about membership? Whether you work for a membership organization or you volunteer for one, this is where you go. This is where you go to get smart about membership. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Sarah Sladek, your host. I've been doing these things where I do a live chat, and audience members can submit their questions and I answer them on the spot. And so if you want to put me in the hot seat, I would love to hear from you at one of these live chat events. Watch my social media feeds, and you'll see when one is happening we try to do them every month. So there should be one happening soon for you. All right. So on one of these live chats recently, I received a tough question. It was such a good question. I was like, we have to discuss this on the Membership IQ. And the question was, drum roll. The question was, what does our association need to be doing right now to prepare for recession? Nobody wants to talk about recession, but it is a reality, right? It's a really scary reality. Ever since the dot-com bubble burst in the year 2000, our economy has had more highs and lows than ever before. Extreme highs, extreme lows. Of course, we had the Great Recession, which was the worst recession our country had seen in over 70 years. And we are projected to hit another bump in the road in this post-pandemic era. But recession has become more of a threat, a looming threat and reality that our organizations are dealing with. And we have to be mindful of what do we need to do to survive? So here it is. I have the answer for you. And it is written on this piece of paper. And it says 80%. 80%. 80%. I want you to really think about what you do day in and day out at your job or your volunteer role, whatever you're doing for the association, whether it's your job or you're volunteering, what are you doing? Write it down. What do you spend your time doing when you're in that role? I hear from a lot of associations that there's a whole variety of tasks and jobs and challenges and roles and responsibilities that have to be fulfilled when you are in collaboration with an association. And sometimes these organizations, surprise of surprises, sometimes they lose their way. They lose their way. And we begin to see things like membership decline, membership disengagement. Whether we're talking about recession or not, that's not really entirely the point, because the fact remains that the 80% makes the difference. So allow me to explain. If you are doing a whole heck of a lot of stuff, a lot of busy work, if being a part of your association is really chaotic, really crazy, really stressful, a whole lot of stuff going on, a whole lot of stuff competing for attention, that model simply isn't sustainable in today's world. What associations instead need to strive for is that 80%, the 80% difference. What this means is 80% of your time, regardless of your role, regardless of how long you've been at that association, 80% of your focus and time and resources and energy should be focused nowhere else except for members. If 80% of every association's time was focused on the members exclusively, would we have a membership problem? No. Would we be worried about recession? Doubtful. When a crisis occurs, if associations are doing their job right, membership should go up, not down, up. Why? Because people join associations believing you can help them solve a problem. Well, when those problems become really accentuated, that means that the demand for what your association is providing should also become accentuated. It's why during pandemic, we saw so many people join associations, but then they quickly left. So initially they thought, this is the answer to my problem. This is a great resource for me at a time of incredible challenge and change. But then once these members got into these associations and they began to realize that it wasn't the 80%, not even close, there was no focus on the members. There wasn't a real responsiveness, sustained responsiveness to their needs. There wasn't a real emphasis on solving their problems, maybe for a short term, but not for a long term. And so guess what? People leave. The 80% difference is that it belongs within those associations that put their people first, have a membership strategy above all else. They go to their members for dialogue and for answers, not elsewhere. They're always talking about how to increase their service to members, how to create more value for members, increase those member benefits. It's all about membership culture, membership experience, member benefits, member. So if you think you have a membership strategy, think again. You probably don't. In all my work with associations over 2 decades, I've come across very few that actually have a membership strategy, and even fewer who are applying the 80% principle. Which begs the question, if you are a membership association, it's right there in your name, and members are not the priority, what is? If you want to survive a recession, even if you're not in recession, the key is to go smaller, more nimble, more strategic, to improve and accelerate your a few services, do a few things exceptionally well. Be small, be nimble, be ready for anything. And by all means, do not lose sight of your customers. Do not lose sight of your members. Apply the 80% theory, and your association will succeed, whether there is a recession going on or not. I'm Sarah Sladek. Thanks for tuning in.